Hey folks, Sean from the Good Dog. I gotta be a little quiet because it's really early in the morning here. You can see that damn wind is back and blowing. And yeah, you can see it. Not quite as bad as it was the other day. Um, for last night, it was pretty bad. So I thought we were out of the woods. Thought the Jag was out of the woods, but maybe not. Anyways, quick thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, you know, study, my study process, what I do every morning, and how it helps me with my business. So this is for anybody that's looking to do business stuff. If you're a dog owner, maybe this isn't for you, unless you're like a very curious dog owner and want to know about more things than just dog training. So this is for entrepreneurs, business owners, business builders, people desiring to build businesses, and people that are building businesses completely outside of the dog world. So this doesn't even have to have anything to do with dogs, but like every morning I'm doing my personal development work, and that's not just about like, how do I become, a kinder person? Yes, that's always on the agenda. That's always on the radar, and that's always something that I'm looking to do. But besides my emotional skills, and I don't mean to make fun of that, but it's just, like, I think when people think of personal development, they always think of like, touchy-feely, like positive feelings only, and like positive attitude and a good state of mind and being generous and caring and loving and all that. Hugely important. Hugely important. Hope that tree doesn't come down. Hugely important. But that's not the only thing I'm studying, right? So that's a piece. Imagine like I'm going to school and that's like one class. But then I have other classes or other books or other things I'm working on, which involve leadership, working on leadership skills, working on employee culture skills, how I can better create a culture here, better work environment, make it more fun, enjoyable. Sorry, we just had a little SIM card act up on my phone. This damn phone. Anyways, so there's all sorts of different classes or chapters during the course of the morning that are super important for me to build what I want to build internally, so I can build externally the business stuff that I want to build, right? So we've got, like, I'm reading Tim Ferriss's book, which is all about, all these different successful people and all their different morning or daily rituals, practices, techniques, hacks, things like that. Super helpful on a wide range of things. But then I've got stuff that's like Stephen Pressfield books, which are about absolutely putting yourself out there and taking risks and taking chances. But also I'm reading his book, No One Wants to Read Yours, and that one is all about how to write better. So if you're looking to be a business owner or create a business, or you just want to get better, being able to write great copy and tell great stories is an essential component of branding and building a great business, right? Like, branding and storytelling are like such a huge part of successful businesses, and a lot of people don't get that. They just think of the nuts and bolts of stuff. So that book, Nobody Wants to Read Your, and I say that because it's actually blanked out on the book. It's Nobody Wants to Read Your Shit. But that book's had a huge impact, as have all of his books on me, just from reading them and developing like better writing style, better handle on how to be economical with wording and what to cut and what to leave in. Like, he's super economical and I'm super wordy, so like he's a really good one for me. Seth Godin, same way. Seth stretches my mind on a million concepts and topics, but he also stretches my writing stuff because he's so economical. And so I tend, as you guys know, to be blah, 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 whether I'm talking or whether I'm writing, always working on getting that to be more succinct. And I think Seth Godin and Stephen Pressfield are huge influences on that. So there's all these different chapters that I'm working on, or all these different classes that I'm going to every day. I'm putting myself through college of self-improvement, college of whatever you want to call it, of improving myself so I can build a better life. So yes, there's classes towards being a better human being and doing a lot of deep work on myself, but there's also stuff about the external things as far as, well, they're actually internal, but we're talking more about the external, like, like how do I interact with people and communication skills, which I guess are internal as well. So anyways, so there's all these different books. They're not just touchy-feely books. They're diving into a diverse amount of topics. I'll check in with Darren Daily, which is Darren's free like 3 to 5 minute like video tips that he puts out every day, and that's Darren Hardy, and that's going to cover a vast array of stuff from leadership, entrepreneurship, business hacks and skills and tools, communication, how to be a better human, and he really covers it all. And of course, I'm going to read Seth's stuff and all that. Anyways, so I wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about that. The books I'm reading aren't just personal development in that like positive attitude sense. They're the entire gamut of what I feel I need to build inside me and internally and externally to have a better life, right? So I think it's really important to make those distinctions about what personal development is. It's developing this person, developing all the skills and tools and things that you need to be your very best, to live your very best life, to go after all the stuff you want. Now, that said, and I mentioned storytelling and things like that, one of the other big components of what I do is study what other people do. And so I go through social media because social media is a huge part of our business building, marketing, branding, as it should be yours. If you're currently living in 2016, almost 2017, you know that the majority of people are spending most of their time on this little thing right here or on their computer. And so having a huge footprint and a huge handle on all of these different platforms, social media platforms, is essential if you want to be relevant and if you want to have a real shot at building something that you have the ability to scale and turn into something bigger, or even something if you want to keep small but keep really premium who comes through your door, right? I mean, it's like I could go down the rabbit hole of the value that you get by doing great branding and storytelling and things like that on social media. But the thing is, I think a lot of people are just like, well, there's social media, so I'm going to put out pictures, or I'll put out like posts, or, is what, people are doing. But they're not studying it. They're not studying it like, you got to study it deep, guys. You got to study it deep. There's a handful of guys that I study social media wise that I study deep. I go through, like, here's one that might surprise you guys. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, ex-wrestler, right? Like, not such a great guy back in his day. Before he even became a wrestler, he was in trouble, blah, blah, blah. Then he became a wrestler, then he started working towards new goals, new dreams, became an actor. I think he was the highest paid actor of last year. But that's not why I follow him. And I don't follow him because he's a handsome, striking gentleman. I follow him because he's one of the best storytellers in social media that I've seen. You can't see my hands, I'm doing all these like gesticulations. The Rock is one of the best. He's great at capturing a photograph and then telling a fantastic story about that photograph, and he tends to contain a lot of similar components in each one of those posts, and I don't think they're random, right? So he's got a mission and a message that he includes, whether it's a video, and he talks, he's got the video where he's talking about whatever it is he's doing, but then he's got all this copy that he tells the story about that video, or it's a photograph and he tells the story about that photograph. You should follow him. He does a fantastic job of storytelling, and I think he's got like, I don't know, something like 70 million followers on Instagram or something, so I'm not the only one that appreciates it, but I don't think a lot of people study it. I don't think they study why are people following him. It's not just because he's sexiest man alive this year and things like, well, some people might be following him because of that, but for the majority, I think, are following him because he's got an interesting life, but he's telling fantastic stories about that interesting life, and he's doing it in a really, really eloquent way that I don't think a lot of people even realize. Casey Neistat is somebody I follow and I watch. I'm always trying to catch up on all of his videos. I still am about 100 something behind, I think, on his daily vlog, which he just wrapped up. He stopped doing like a couple weeks ago. Casey Neistat did a daily vlog for about 3 years. He's a filmmaker. He had a show on HBO and blah blah blah. But Casey Neistat is another amazing storyteller. He does it mostly through his vlog, and he does it through a visual medium. But boy, is he telling stories constantly. And on top of that, if you want to get better at being on video, if you're going to be doing videos for social media for your business, or you're going to be coaching anybody else in your business on it, watching people that do a great job visually in video form on social media is a huge boon, is a huge advantage. Like, I watch enough Casey that like Casey starts to influence and help me relax and help me be easier on video, because he's so easy on video. Just like anything else that you expose yourself to enough, those influences eventually start to seep in and they start to become your own. So I've watched hundreds of hours of Casey. And what it's helped me do is it's helped me think about what could be fun video-wise, right? The video I shot where I ran around the yard with the wind, I didn't even think about it, but that's probably like a lot of Casey-inspired stuff, because that's like probably what Casey would do. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't like, I'm gonna emulate a Casey video. It's just that I've watched so much of his stuff that like some of the ideas are starting to come to the fore, starting to percolate to the top. And he's also helped me be more relaxed, have more fun on video, not take myself so serious, make mistakes and be okay with it, like embrace them and have fun with them rather than be like, oh crap, I gotta do another take. Same with Gary Vee. Gary Vee does an amazing job of storytelling. Gary Vee's very good on video. He's not for everybody. Some people have a hard time with him because he's really got like a strong message and a strong personality. But I love that Gary's like all about no edits. Like when he shoots his show, he's like always, don't you dare edit that out, you know? And he like leaves every bump and every crack and every crevice and every imperfection of who he is, he leaves it in. And what you end up seeing, and I think what you end up seeing with the three people that I just mentioned, Gary, Casey, and The Rock, is their humanity really come through. And I think that's what connects all of us to these people and these brands. Yes, they're doing great work. Yes, The Rock is making successful movies. Yes, Casey has got one, if not the like highest watch vlog around. Yes, Gary has built multiple businesses and is one of the most highly followed and revered social media guys. But they're also, right, so you got these guys that are doing like fantastic work, but they're also doing an amazing job of storytelling that stuff as they go, right? So it's just so many resources are out there for you guys. If you dive in, if you dig in, if you don't just watch it, if you don't just take it in, right? All these three guys are so successful. They're doing all of this big stuff, but they're also doing a fabulous job of storytelling about what they're doing, and that humanity of how they're doing it. I think maybe that's what I was trying to say a second ago, is the humanity of them showing how they do it, and the imperfections and the things that are good and challenging and hard and celebratory and all that. They just kind of put it all out there, and I think that is really kind of the branding and the storytelling, and the future of where things are going is more transparency, more generosity, more connection on a real level, less like perfect. You even see apps like like Snapchat and Instagram stories, things that are going more towards like less fancy, less clean, less pretty, less well put together, and more about just like, here I am just shooting, boom, and off it goes. So personally, I think that that's the direction that we're moving in, and I think if you can get better and better at being more real, more honest, more transparent, less fancy, less like everything is perfect, and more real while still delivering great stuff, because all three of those guys I mentioned, not to mention Seth and Darren, those other guys, and Stephen Pressfield, they're also delivering amazing stuff, high quality work. So you can't just do the social media, and you can't just like be great on video, and you can't just do all that. You've also got to like do great work. You've also got to be talented. You've also got to be qualified. You have to have value that you can share that's going to impact others. But the vehicle and the way that you share it and the way that it impacts others that we're currently paying attention to and utilizing is this vehicle. And this vehicle, I think, is a vehicle that resonates much more with people when it's transparent, when it's real, when it's honest, and when it's imperfect. And because that's what we all are. And so if you're bold enough to be real, then you've got a real shot at connecting with people in a different way than I think a lot of maybe your competitors or a lot of other businesses are. So just some thoughts on that stuff. I just wanted to remind everybody, I was thinking, as I was going through my stuff, that the way I deconstruct social media stuff and people's videos and Casey's vlogs and The Rock storytelling and Gary V's posts and anybody else that I watch, guys, I'm spending oodles of time. I know it's a long video, but sorry guys, it's important stuff. I'm spending oodles of time not just watching it, not just reading it, but deconstructing it and breaking it down and figuring out why it works. Why does The Rock's story resonate so well in this one post? What did he include in it? Break it down, get a feel for it so you can deconstruct it and then reconstruct it and then eventually make it your own. What is Casey doing with the camera? What's his personality like in this shot? Where's the music coming in? Where's the music coming out? Where's it natural sound? Where's it not natural sound? Where, you know what I mean? Like, what cuts did he put here? Where did he put the camera? All this stuff. Same thing goes with Gary. Like, I'm analyzing every single one of these guys. Like, how are they doing their thing? And that analyzation and that breaking down and deconstruction is what's helping me to do a better job with my own stuff. So it's all freaking work, guys. It's all just hard ass work. It's all like, instead of like watching the Flintstones and having a good time, it's about doing hard work. So if you guys want that stuff, I always talk about breadcrumbs. It's all out there. If you're a dog trainer, so much information is out there in videos and other trainers stuff they're putting out. If you're not a dog trainer, if you are somebody who's building your own business and doing something else completely separate of it, the breadcrumbs are out there for you as well. That's the beauty of the world we live in currently. The breadcrumbs are everywhere. But you gotta go grab them. You gotta like bend over and pick them up. They're not just gonna fly into your hand. You gotta go get them. So go get those breadcrumbs, study the hell out of them, deconstruct them, let them become part of you, and then eventually you'll regurgitate them, unfortunate word. You'll regurgitate them in a fashion that is singularly yours. And then it'll become something special and people will emulate you and they'll be like, man, the way so-and-so does this is so cool. But really it's an amalgamation, collection of all these other influences that you've had, that you've absorbed and done the work to bring into you. And then they've come out as you somewhere down the line after they've been filtered and all that. Anyways, that's that. Just wanted to share that. I'm always looking for info that I can share as far as like my process. What works for me may not work for you, but it's my process and it works for me. And hopefully there's some part or piece or component of this you can take and run with, and that'll be helpful and valuable. And as always, hit me up in the comments if you have any questions about any of this. But study your ass off. Study all of the stuff that's important. Deconstruct it. Don't you dare just read it or just view it and be like, I did the work. No. Deconstruct, bust your butt until you understand it completely. Don't you dare move from that whatever you're studying, because you don't know it yet. Don't move on until you know it. Once you know it, then you can move to the next page, or you can move to the next video, or you can forward the video, whatever you got to do. Deconstruct, do your work. The information's out there. Breadcrumbs. Folks, wish us luck. I wish the Jag luck. No harpooning. All right. See you guys.